Hey, what's up, guys? So today I want to go over 3 tips of how to get in ketosis and my personal pros and cons behind ketosis. So what is ketosis exactly? It's basically when the liver starts producing ketones and it goes after your body fat stores. And a great thing about ketosis as well, if you're doing it properly, your inflammation should actually be low to nil. And so let me go over the 3 tips now. So tip number 1, you want to focus on getting most of your macronutrients from fat. So you want to be at an 80% fat, preferably 15% protein and 5% carb. Now you don't want your high glycemic carbs because if your insulin spikes up, your body's just not gonna go into ketosis. So you want to focus on low glycemic carbs and preferably fibrous carbs at that if you can. All right, so tip number 2, long bouts of cardio. Long, low intense bouts of cardio. You don't want to go too high in the intensity. So basically when your body runs, it runs on carb, protein, fat. Okay? If you're going at a really high intensity, it's going to go after its carb first, glycogen stores, then the protein, and then the fat. Okay? So if you go low intensity, it focuses more on fat, proteins, carbs. So essentially, carb is the number one energy source that the body usually goes after because it's an easier source to go after. It's an easier source to break down. And that's why when you lower your carbs in the first place, you're trying to force your body to get ready for those carbs. Well, those low intense bouts too, those low, long, intense bouts will get your body going after its fat stores, preferably instead of going, let's say you do a moderate intensity for a long time, it would actually go more after the muscle. It's going to go after your lean protein, and that's not a good thing. So do long bouts, but very low intensity on those long bouts. It should be something where you can basically walk in the park. You want to be able to talk where you can break a little bit of a sweat, but you don't want to go too intense. All right. So tip number 3, bouts of fasting. Now, this depends on the level that you've gone at. If you've never really done anything in attempting to go into ketosis, I probably wouldn't recommend this because if you've never fasted and then you go straight into fasting, it's just really, really hard on the body, and it's not something I would recommend a person doing on their first try. I would do small intermittent bouts of fasting. So maybe start at 4 hours if you're used to eating every 2 hours, and then go to 8 hours, and then eventually go to 16 hours, and then try and get a 24-hour fast going on. And that's going to help your body kick into ketosis because it's going to want to go after those fat stores. It's going to want to use those energies. Now, my personal pros and cons behind it. I'm actually a big fan of ketosis. I cycle it a little bit. The reason being, I feel like my endurance actually goes up, but my strength and power go down quite a bit. Especially being as a fighter, you have to have endurance and you have to be powerful. You have to be able to wrestle your opponent and you have to be able to strike at your opponent. So if I maintain ketosis, I do feel my endurance go up. My weight goes way down because my body's going after all of the fat stores. I get extremely lean when I'm in that state, but I actually get too lean. I fight at 185 and I've actually gotten down to 180 and I was just like, I cannot do this. So I actually do a cycle. The reason I do my cycle, one great thing about going in and out of ketosis is you actually help your body's sensitivity to carbohydrates. So what that means is basically when you eat and you have that cellular sensitivity, you don't need as many carbs to do the same thing. So I probably roughly get around 150 grams. That's a high day of carbs for me, and I feel great on it. And another thing, I'm not carb dependent. I don't need carbs every 2 to 3 hours. People who are first starting this process, who have been used to running on carbs on a regular basis, when they do this, they have something called the keto flu. And a couple ways to help with the keto flu would actually be eating more calories, of course, staying high in the fats, but you can actually have a caloric surplus so that it will help with that keto flu. Another thing, you have to make sure your electrolytes are in place and that you're hydrated, because carbohydrates carry water. It's CHO, right? So when you start limiting your carbohydrates, you in essence will limit the water that you're going to get. So you have to make sure that you're constantly getting in more water and you're getting the right minerals to keep your body at proper balance. Another thing, let me think. Yeah, that's all I can really think of. So that's why I do a personal cycle on going keto and going off of keto. If you're looking to lose body fat, ketosis is a great way to do it for most people. Some people, it just doesn't work well for them. I try and go off of having a lifestyle change. If it's something that you can't maintain in a lifestyle, then it's probably not the best diet for you. There's so many diets and there's so many fads and there's so many people saying this is the only way that it works. And there's not. There's a lot of different ways that work, and people have to find their balance. You have to find what works for you. All right. So me as a trainer, I'm going to find the exercises that you like to do. Maybe you like to dance. Everybody has something different. Well, diets are the same way. There is no one specific diet fits all. If you want to try it, let me know. If you have any questions, I feel free to answer them. Just comment below, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.